There's like a famous quote that Issa Rae always says, and it's one of my favorite quotes about networking across. Like, don't just network up, networking, with the people who are in the trenches with you, the people that are still trying to figure it out. Because, I look at my friends now and I sometimes I just laugh to myself because all of them, every single one of them have these huge titles at this big company, or they're like super known and, have a million followers. And it just cracks me up because I remember when, right? Like you just, you remember your friends when they were just, in the trenches with you. So to see them now, but because I've, built those friendships and that network, anything I need is one phone call away.
Welcome back to another episode of the PR Style Guide with co-host Danielle Williams and Robin Newton, talking to women making strides in the PR, marketing, and communications industries and doing it with style. Now let's get into it. Hello, welcome back to another episode of the PR Style Guide. I am Robin Newton and I'm joined by my fabulous co-host Danielle Williams, and we have another exciting guest for you. But before we get into introducing our guest for this episode, I want to invite you to follow us, like us, share and engage with our content on all social platforms, and give us a rating on whatever you listen to podcasts, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Apple. We're on all the platforms, all the places. So go on there, review, give us a rating, and help us to grow and help us to expand the community that we are so excited to be now involved in and getting to know, and people are starting to get to know our podcast, and that's exciting. And so we want it to grow. We want more and more people to learn about us. And now I'm going to kick it over to Danielle so she can introduce our guest.
Thank you, Robin. And hey, PR Style Guide family and community. Again, welcome back. We're always excited to be here with you all, bringing you all great content. And this episode is no different. I am excited to introduce our dynamic interviewee, or someone who I have known through other people for a while, and I'm excited to be able to sit down and talk with her. So that is none other than Mia Davis, and she is a dynamic global marketing leader and visionary founder of Color Vision, a pioneering platform devoted to elevating diversity within creative industries. Recognized for her unique and strategic approach, Mia excels in developing impactful marketing campaigns, producing branded content, digital advertising, and orchestrating national events that drive engagement and brand awareness. She is a natural event curator whose approach combines creativity with a robust business sense, drawing widespread admiration in the industry. As a thought-provoking leader, Mia is respected for her ability to inspire and guide high-performing teams, continuously delivering above expectations. Her skills as an out-of-the-box thinker enables her to address complex business challenges with innovative solutions. Mia's remarkable communication skills have allowed her to forge strategic partnerships and cultivate lasting relationships across all organizational levels. Her strengths also include an exceptional organizational ability, managing multiple projects seamlessly, shout out to you, and excelling in high energy, diverse environments that leverage the latest technologies to meet business objectives. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Color Vision, and she has grown that into a global community of over 20,000 members. Striving to improve fairness and equity within creative fields, her work throughout the years has earned significant recognition, including being named one of Radio 1's top 30 leaders, Tavis Smiley's Person of the Year, a proclamation from the city of Hempstead underscoring her impact in media and diversity advocacy. And in 2023, Vice President Kamala Harris also honored Mia for her contributions, a testament of her dedication to creating opportunities for people of color. We're not through yet, y'all. In addition to this, Color Vision, Mia oversees the agency by Color Vision, a consultancy where she collaborates with leading brands like Uber and Warner Brothers, leveraging her expertise to help them to help these companies engage diverse audiences. Through the agency, Mia continues to push boundaries in marketing, focusing on initiatives that foster community, empower voices, and drive measurable growth. Her influence within the industry and her commitment to creating equitable opportunities position Mia Davis as a transformative figure in the evolving landscape of global marketing and diversity advocacy. And with that, y'all, let's give a huge welcome to Mia Davis to the
Thank
PR Style
you.
Guide podcast.
Thank you so much.
We need like horns to like blow and be like
Come
boop,
on, my
boop, boop,
friend.
boop, 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 boop.
Thank you, ladies. Hearing
Drum
that all out.
roll.
Thank you.
Is it sometimes it cool when you listen, sit back and listen to your own bio and you like, who they talking about? They talking about me. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I'm
did
a very
that.
behind the scenes person, so I don't. That's weird to me. But thank you so much. That was very cool.
You are welcome.
Awesome. So let's get into it. When did you fall in love with communications and creative background?
Wow, I would say I really fell in love, and I think I knew my path pretty early. Not my exact path, but I knew I would end up in like communications entertainment, probably in high school. We had a like a production team in high school, and I oversaw everything. So I used to I like produced the morning show, and then I also starred in it, and then I also like wrote all the announcements for the school for junior and senior year, and I loved it. And I had no idea then that it was like laying a path for all the things that I would do in life, but that was definitely yeah, when I really fell in love with that industry.
So hold on, Mia.
Hearing.
Yeah, run this back. So you produced it, you were
Yes,
on camera, and you wrote the stuff. You were like in all.
yes, I was in all of the things, and it's so funny. I had a reunion not too long ago, and some of my friends were like, "This is literally who you've always been." And sometimes it takes other
Mhm.
people seeing you. You don't always see yourself, so that it just they were bringing up all those memories for me, and I'm like, "Wow, like yes, I guess I've always been doing this." But that just being like in the mix and telling people kind of what they could expect and getting them excited about things and being the main line of communication, like what that was it for me. So that is when I really fell in love with the communication industry.
Awesome. We've heard that actually from I believe one other guest that we had on in the past. So I
Like them
always
school announcements.
enjoy, yeah, morning
That
announcements.
was
Yeah,
Lonnie
I
from
think it
Tony
was
Lee.
Lonnie. Yeah, because she and I, that's actually similar to me. I was on the morning announcement team
Yeah, I
growing
hear
up.
the
Yep,
voice. I hear you could. I definitely hear. I don't know your whole background. I hear the voice. Yeah.
I've been in doing communications for a while now, but yes, and so I can relate totally to us as girls that were our morning announcement team. We nicknamed it MAT. So no, I can relate totally. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about color vision because I've been following color vision for
Oh,
years now. PR Style Guide follows color vision. Danielle and I personally follow color vision. And we're excited to have you on. We've been fangirling over several of our
oh,
guests
oh,
this
please.
season. And no, absolutely. When you have an idea and you see it from inception to, actually executing it and it then becoming a successful thing, that's always something to celebrate and be proud of. And so congratulations. But we'd love to know how you started, how you came up with the idea, and then just seeing it to what it is now.
Wow. Yeah. So, my background is in television marketing, specifically to television marketing for a very long time. So for years, I worked for one of the largest television overall networks, in the world, and I found myself in these rooms, and it just it would never be anyone who looked like me or who I could relate to. If they were never in my department. In my department, I was the only person of color, period. So there was no one that I could go to in my department. And I had a pretty large department. And it felt lonely. a little bit. It was hard to get people in. It was hard to like it was nearly impossible to get people in. I found myself going to like I don't know if you guys are familiar with like ERGs. They're employee resource groups is what it stands for when you're in corporate America. So I would join those, and then I joined some other organizations, like random organizations, but everything felt like cliquish. It didn't feel good. It felt like if you weren't a part of that clique or if you weren't already sitting at the table, then those women were not going to let you in. And I did not like how that felt. So I decided to do something about it. So I actually went to a friend about it. She actually helped me come up with a name because I was stuck. Like I had the word vision. And then there were so many other things with color in it, like add color, color of change. My good friend over Lauren, who owns ColorCom, who I love. So I was like, oh, I don't want to put color in it. I don't want to put color in it. And I fought it. But she was like, no, it just sounds good. Color vision. Like you want it to be known that it's for people of color. So that is how that happened. Although I was so against the name, but it was born. And then, yeah, it started. I started with small dinners with colleagues, with people who were in TV, with all the PR girlies, with people who were in marketing. I just had these really small dinners of colleagues that I knew. We all kind of just vented, and I created these safe spaces. And then it just became bigger than me. Social media makes it seem like it happened overnight, and sometimes it feels like that. But I think that just with time and like a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of people who really, really cared getting behind me, that it was just born. And I think like the word has spread, and yeah, it's just something that I'm like really, really proud of. So yeah, that's the story.
Wow. Now, just curious, is you didn't talk about your schooling at all, but I know you said you had been in high school, like doing your announcements. So did you also study communications and marketing in college?
Yes. So it's so random. So I went to Hofstra University, and I studied broadcast journalism because in high school, I had been in front of the camera a lot as well. And I think one of my teachers was like, you should really major in broadcast journalism. And I picked Hofstra because they have one of the top they have one of the top school of communication schools in the country. Obviously, they're right there in New York. The founder of HBO also graduated from Hofstra. So they have so many opportunities. So I went to Hofstra with that in mind. And at Hofstra, I was able to intern every semester while I was in New York. And so I interned for all major networks. It was definitely an amazing, amazing time. It was I would say, just a priceless experience to be in New York City and working for all of those major networks and seeing celebrities every day. It really shaped my young mind, and it made me want to, be in that industry. I would say college for sure. It put a stamp on it.
Nice. Now, are you from this area? I know, or you were in New York, up there for school, but are you originally from
Yeah,
the
no,
Maryland,
I'm
DC?
from this area. So I'm from the DMV. And I spent a lot of time in New York back in my younger days. I used to dance. So I danced, I did the junior company for Alvin Ailey. Actually, when I was in high school with one of my best friends, I'm going to shout her out. She's the editor in chief for Business Insiders, lifestyle division. Her name is Joy Marie McKenzie Lewis. She's married now. And we did Alvin Ailey together. And that is when I really fell in love with New York. We were only 16. I still cannot believe our parents let us stay there alone. It was a different time. But yeah, we were 16. We stayed at these student housing, and that also just opened my mind. So I fell in love with New York. I knew I wanted to go to school there because I was dancing there. Went to school there. I spent every, summer there while I was in college, and then I lived there as well after college. And New York was just my home. But I decided to move back to the DMV to be closer to my parents, and obviously I got married and yeah, settled down.
Love it.
So, as someone who's been in this business now for years, where would you say you like get your inspiration from? The news outlets, out social media, books, and things that you read. Like, where does your inspiration come from?
Honestly, guys, that is a good question. It's something that I've been trying to get back to, because I feel like I have not been inspired in a while. I don't know if you guys ever feel like that, but sometimes I don't know if it's like the influx of just like social media and scrolling, or all of like just life changes. Like I'm a mom now, so I feel like I was just asking myself that too, like who inspires me? Like when do I have time to be inspired? What am I looking for? And I was saying to myself, like I need to make this next year the year of being inspired and like pouring back into me and actually attending events that I have nothing to do with, where I don't know anyone, and all of those things. So what used to inspire me is always like a really good book. One book I did read recently that was so inspiring, though, I listened to on audio, was Sheila Johnson. God, I can't remember the name of her book, but she just put out her, yeah, her autobiography, and it
Mm.
was so good. Like one of the best autobiographies I ever read. It's super inspiring how she how her life just changed. After she met her husband and everything that she endured, but she managed to
Mhm.
just turn it around.
Mm.
So yeah, that was probably the last thing that really inspired me. So when I need to look for inspiration, definitely a good book, but always also just putting myself in different rooms that,
Mhm.
people who are doing either the same thing as I'm doing or who are doing better than me. That is what kind of keeps me going.
Gotcha. No, I don't think so. So I did have before we get off of color vision and how you built everything. So I know you said your inspiration was you were in these rooms, so you were obviously working at your job and you noticed there was a gap, and so you created color vision. Now, I don't know, not sure if you talked about this, but were you still working in those places before you went to color vision? Is that your full-time job now? No, you have like your
Yeah,
agency.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
so no, I literally just stopped working a full-time corporate job just 2 years ago, barely 2 years ago. I'm very type A personality, like jumping to something with no job, no funding, none of that sounds insane to me. So it took some major convincing for me to go full-time. It still feels even weird saying, but full-time entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely a type A girl, so I had to have a certain savings. I had to feel like I was
Understand.
making more than my salary, all of the things. But yes, I was doing color vision while did it while I had a full time job. So it was it felt like two full time jobs. It never felt like a side hustle because I was always carving out time to work on it. Like every single day, even if I was exhausted, I would put at least 2 hours in after work, or I would stay up late, or sometimes I would get up at 5 in the morning and I would say, okay, I'm going to do this from 5 to 7, then I'll get ready for work, yada, yada, yada. And yeah, I put the grind in with it. And then, yeah, about a few years ago, I was like, I cannot do this 9 to 5 anymore and, run this organization and run the agency as well. It just became too much. And I had to have a talk with myself, made a plan, and yeah, I made the leap. But it was scary. It's still scary. It's scary every day. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's
So while we're talking about that, what about the idea of like managing PR and managing running a business, running a communications outlet, and being a mom, like all of it, everything together? So, speaking of that, what is the most rewarding and the most challenging thing about working in this business?
The most rewarding thing for me is just seeing, I would say, lives that color vision on that end is directly impacting. Seeing, especially we have a mentee program with women in their early stages of their business, or in like the first 5 to 6 years of their career. Just seeing how it directly impacts their life, specifically, like seeing them get the promotions that they never thought they would get, or being able to directly put them in front of women they never thought they'd have the chance to have a conversation with or get help from, has been really helpful. And then also just getting women hired, that has been like getting them hired and seeing, like I know last year's CNN directly hired people from our creator summit that we have every year.
That's
So
awesome.
seeing people
amazing.
is like, and I'm working on that again this year. So seeing just people's life change from just being in the room of something that we've done, or just being able to directly like change the quality of their life. Like, for our mentees and for other women, they say, I'm making this much, but how much should be making? And being able to really give them that information, or if they're interested in starting some type of creative business, whether it's their own PR company or their own whatever creative company, like giving them the resources and giving them the guidance. Because as Black women, we lack funding, we lack sponsorship, we lack allyship, and a lot of us lack mentorship as well. And I think that we need all of those things to be successful, whether it's in your career or in your business. So that is definitely the most rewarding. I think the most challenging at this stage is that I'm one person and
Mhm.
it's really hard to be in all the places, doing all the things while also still managing my kids and managing my husband and my life. So, some days it's nearly impossible. So I'm also learning to let go a little bit, which is hard for me, and letting other people be in the place and not myself. So that's probably my hardest thing right now as an entrepreneur is delegating. That is, yeah, I'm working on that.
And I know you said you had that type A, so I understand that too. Is like I can do it the
I'm
best.
trying to let go. I'm letting go. I really am trying to let go. I am. I'm working on it.
Danielle and I type A too. The struggle is real.
I get
So I
better.
wanted to ask you, so with how did you come up with the Creator Summit? So, and you can tell me, it seems like you're noticing these gaps. Again, you being in these rooms, you create color vision. And I would love to know, just even, I know you're very creative, out of the box thinking. So, but how did the Creator Summit come about? I know you have like these, great events that bring people together. So I would just love to just kind of know about that as well.
Yeah, so that came about. We actually thought of that idea back in 2019. My advisory board, we have an awesome advisory board of about 20 very high achieving women who help us do all the things. So shout out to them. They really keep me going. So we thought, we were like, where is like one kind of place where we can all unite and be in one room and do more than just talk, like really make meaningful connections and, do all of those things and have it mainly be Black women. I feel like a lot of conferences, it's not always just us. So you're not walking away with tangible things. So that is what we wanted. Like this year, Capital One was one of our great partners. They partner with us throughout the year. They're awesome. And they did this great workshop. They allowed attendees to basically, they gave them, you know, uh, idea. They were like, okay, this is Capital One's branding, but what should our branding be? And they allowed them to like pitch to executives and to do all of those things. And when they were done, one young woman came up to me crying. She's like, all of this time, I could not figure out what it was that I was supposed to be doing in life because I'm so creative. I'm all over the place. She's like, but now just being in that room, I know like I want to be a creative director. That is my main goal. And I had so many conversations like that. And that's really what the Creator Summit is for. It's for you to walk away with those kind of aha moments, whether it's through a personal connection you made or getting a job or saying, oh, I should be doing this. We're still in the very baby stages, I would say. We're still like a baby summit, but we have huge ideas and huge plans. Hopefully, it will go far. I pray.
Yeah.
And the Creator Summit was just in September, right?
September, yep.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll have to partner with you and work with you in 2025.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
oh my God.
maybe PR Style Guy can come out and do something in partnership and collaboration with the
I
conference.
would
That'd be
love
awesome.
that. Yes, I would absolutely
Absolutely.
love that.
Yeah, I hear such great things, about what you're doing, and so I just want to celebrate you because, as you mentioned, you're a mom, and it sounds like you said kids with an S, not just one.
Yes, yes. My oldest, Mackenzie, my beautiful, beautiful bonus baby, but that is my baby too. And my youngest, my baby girl, Isabel. She is 5, going on 12. So, yeah, every day is adventure.
Two kids, like you said, a husband. You have color vision. You have the agency. So my hat goes off to you. I mean, I don't know if you have any tips. Maybe this can go into our next one. And you did talk about delegating and things like that, but you obviously have to have a pretty good village and support system to do what you're doing so far. So I don't know, if you just have any tips or thoughts on, there are people who are dualpreneurs, or just having. There's some people who have full-time jobs and have, or two full-time jobs. In today's world is, so that's kind of the norm. So yeah, do you have any tips for that, just on a village, anything, having a good community to support you?
Yeah, I think if I could tell myself, younger self, anything, I would definitely say remember that community is so important. I just had this talk with my oldest the other day. Like, you really need community through all the stages of your life, through your career, through if you're starting a business, especially when you're starting a family, when you're starting a marriage, like all of those transitions in life, you need community to pour into you at different stages. So I would just say, always be working on your community, like work and pour into your friendships. If you have two friends, pour into that. Always pour into your village so that they can pour back into you. I would say, because you need them. And it doesn't have to be family, it could just be people who love you the way that you love them. And like I said before, also, make sure that you're delegating um, possible. And if you have the means, pay for help. I'm very big on paying for help because I literally cannot do all of the things. So that's one way that I help myself and my mental health, is paying for help. If I need, the house cleaned, then I pay for it to be cleaned. If I need extra help with the kids or whatever it is, I work hard so that I can be able to do those things, because it's literally impossible to do everything yourself. So don't try to be the perfect woman. It's not. It's useful.
Listen.
So, one more question on professional stuff, and then we want to chat about fashion a little bit. Which do you prefer? Do you prefer working for yourself or for a company?
Or for myself, 1,000,000,000,000,000,000%. Oh my gosh. 1,000%. Okay. Not to say I would never, have a job or anything again. But I do think I'm someone who's big on time. So I like controlling my own time. Where I am in life right now, trying to manage two businesses and just being, all the other titles I have, I think that controlling my own time is just very helpful for me. But then also, my husband reminded me of something the other day. My dad, he's retired now, but he was a very successful entrepreneur. So I saw it growing up. So I think that is just like in my head. I was, my aunt as well was a very successful entrepreneur. So I think that is just what I saw. So that is what I know. So that is probably in my head. But not to say I would never get a job again, but I definitely prefer running my own thing. Yeah.
So as a follow-up to that, how would you say that what are some tips for building your business and clientele? I know some of the clientele that we mentioned, you work with some pretty big names out there. I know you said you just left your corporate job about 2 years ago. So, I'm thinking that that was probably helpful maybe in,
Yes,
carrying.
of course. Yeah. The job I was at forever, the TV network, turned out to be one of my biggest clients, like, and one of my biggest supporters still to this day. So that has been a huge blessing. But I would say, especially for any young woman interested in that, networking starts early. And there's like a famous quote that Issa Rae always says, and it's one of my favorite quotes about networking across. Like, don't just network up, networking, with the people who are in the trenches with you, the people that are still trying to figure it out. Because, I look at my friends now and I sometimes I just laugh to myself, because all of them, every single one of them, have these huge titles at this big company, or they're like super known and, have a million followers. And it just cracks me up, because I remember when, right? Like, you just, you remember your friends when they were just, in the trenches with you. So to see them now, but because I've, built those friendships and that network, anything I need is one phone call away. So just to make sure you're always, always networking across, I would say, is super important, especially when you're young. Just as far as building now, even if you're like mid career or mid business, just, be as genuine as you can. Don't I think that sometimes people approach people and it's just like you can see that they want something from you. Like, they want something from you, whether it's a sponsorship or a connection or whatever it is, like, and people can read through that right away and it like turns people off. So it's the one thing I always tell my mentees is like, be genuine. Like, don't just ask for things right out. Like, if you just met someone 10 minutes ago and then you're scheduling a call 1 week later, like, can you, like, they don't, they don't know you. So really work on building those real relationships where you're really getting to know someone. That I'm like a really big proponent of that. I'll meet someone and so I'm like, you know what? I'd really love to partner with them or have them help us. I don't ask for that right away. Like, I work on building the relationship first because it might not be a good match, right? So you definitely just want to make sure that you're being genuine with your connections and it'll help you in the long run.
Absolutely.
That is spot on. And it actually transcends a lot of conversations that we've talked about. And with the PR style guide in particular, thinking about building relationships with reporters and people in the
Yeah,
media. Like it's similar. Like you gotta nurture those relationships. You meet the people and you don't just immediately go into ask, can you write the story? Can you cover my event? Can you do this? But share content with them that might be helpful to them before you go and ask them for something. Build those relationships over months or years at a time instead of just meeting and immediately it's like, what can you do for me?
exactly. Exactly. So that is one big lesson I learned. And I know something I really want to bring back to color vision is something when I was younger, my mom put me, you read it earlier in my bio, but I Tavis Smiley years ago, he had a really well known organization where he helped like, youth do all these things. And I was in that program. And I remember one of the things that he taught us early that I learned at 14 was how to network, and
Mm.
it has helped me throughout my life. So that is something I want to bring back for Black adult women because a lot of us we don't really know how to network. We don't really know what we should be saying. Some of us are timid, shy. We don't want people to think we're using them. So I think that that is something that's really missing for a lot of Black women that I really want to bring back with color vision. So that is something that I'm working on right now.
I love that. I think that's going to be such a great value added for sure to everyone.
Yeah.
I agree. Absolutely.
All right, Robin, you ready to dive into fashion? Go ahead.
Yeah, let's do it. So we love fashion here, PR Style Guide, and we recognize that it is a big part of building your personal and your professional brand. So what's one fashion staple for you?
So my fashion staple, I am very much like classic. So I like having like a lot of classic pieces in my closet. I don't want things that I have to like fuss over. I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna wear? What am I gonna do? So I will invest in a nice piece so that I can, pair it with other things throughout the year or throughout whatever. But I think a nice staple piece would be for the fall. I love Nifa, like a nice like sweater dress that I can put on and I could go, I feel like I can go anywhere with it. I could dress it down, I could dress it up. So that's one piece for that I like for the fall, or even for the winter. And then I would say for like kind of summer weather, like I love like a good like kind of classy sundress. Like I'm kind of old school, so
Hmm.
I love something I can just throw on that fits my curves perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are probably my two staples.
Those
Okay.
are
I
two.
love that.
Yes, they're the
Yeah.
classic, the go tos. You really can't go wrong with a good sweater
Yeah,
dress, like you said.
I'm super, super. I just like I don't think like things to be a fuss. So
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah, and the sundress. Love it.
Absolutely.
Okay, now, well, are you like a flats, heels? Or, we'll kind of get into that a little later. But do you have any sneakers? Just I'm curious since you, yeah,
Yes, I will admit because I know my husband's
or
probably gonna
heels.
watch. My
I don't know if
husband's
you
gonna
like
watch
heels.
this spirit. So I was not into sneakers before I met my husband. I'm gonna let him have this because he will literally write your comments like she's like it was good. Okay, so honey, I know you're gonna watch this. Yes, you put me onto the sneaker game. So I do have a lot of sneakers now because I think the older I get, the more comfortable I like to be. But I prefer flats or sneakers. But when I step out, if I'm stepping out somewhere nice, I'm gonna put on a heel. I'm gonna complain about it all night long. But you're gonna get these pictures. I'm gonna look. Yeah, but I prefer flat or heels for comfort. I mean, flat or sneakers for comfort. But if I'm stepping out, I'm gonna put on a nice heel.
You and I are here, okay?
Yeah.
Like all the way, all the way. Danielle's laughing because she knows me.
Yes.
I'm a cute flats
You like
girl.
heels?
You know, Mia, before 2 kids, heels were my tennis shoes. Like I was a heels girly all the way. But I think between COVID happening and like being home and working from home more, I still love a good heel, but I'm having to like kind of build back. I'm trying to add more sneakers. Like I'm loving the dunks. I'm loving like the cute sneakers that you can still make look good.
Yes.
So I'm kind of on that vibe too.
Yes. Yeah, I don't honestly, I do like my husband picks out my sneakers as well. He says I'm not good at that part. He's from Brooklyn, New York. So, you know, you know what I mean? That's so his vibe. So he's like, you're a
Yeah,
Maryland girl. You don't know anything about now.
yeah.
He'll
New
like a
New
sneaker.
York.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure y'all probably have some cute pictures together with the kids. Like, do y'all kind of
Yeah.
do like family?
Yeah, we definitely have some cute sneaker photos for sure.
Love it. Love it.
Too. And I love that sneakers and dresses or sneakers and suits is like now a thing. It's so in, and I'm here for it. I'm like, because I've always been a flats girl. I'm similar to you. I will put the heel on for the special occasion or the meeting, but I'm gonna be complaining in my mind about it the whole time, and I'm gonna
Yes.
have my flats very close by,
And my
very
flats
close by.
and my purse. I'm carrying a purse big enough for the flats. That's how I roll.
Mhm.
Right. Exactly. So speaking of, we were talking about, I want to dive into what do you think it means to have a personal brand and, also as a professional and, how do you think that fits into today's landscape? Like, why do you think that's important?
A personal brand is extremely important. Things have changed so much. So a personal brand can impact your career. It can impact you making more money. It can impact literally everything. I think a personal brand and how people view you online, yes, is very, it's just crucial, I think, to everything in life. Unfortunately, like I miss the days when this wasn't the case, when life was so different. But we're just living in a 24-hour technology, social media world. So it is what it is. It's the same kind of lecture I give to my oldest, like how you present yourself online can follow you for years. So, have to be very careful of what you're putting up, how you present yourself. All of those things matter.
And
Absolutely. So that's great advice. Speaking of that, any advice that you would give a younger people coming up in this industry or that are interested in this industry?
Yeah, I would say definitely, especially if you're in PR or any kind of communications industry, and you have big dreams. Let's say you dream of working with Beyonce or whoever the next big act is one day. You best believe they're going to be doing all of those research going back to see who you are, and who you've always been. Especially huge artists or huge celebrities, they do not play about who they have around them. So I would
Mhm.
say to my young kind of aspiring communication girlies out there, just be really careful of what you're putting online. Not online, not that you can't live or have fun or be outside, but just be careful, be mindful, and also be mindful of who you're posting with. If they're doing things they should not be,
Mhm.
you know, putting online, putting on, for it to live forever. Remember what you upload, even if you delete it, you don't own it. Instagram owns it. TikTok owns it. Whoever owns it. So anything you're putting up, you're giving them access to, they now own it. So just
Yeah.
be mindful of all those things as well.
absolutely.
What's that old saying? You're the company you keep.
For the company
Mhm.
you keep. That's so
Even if that's not the case, it is the
yep,
perception.
exactly. Unfortunately, that's life now. That's where we are.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Shall we hop into our lightning rounds?
There's a lightning round. Okay.
Yes. Well, before we do that, Robin, I would love to. I feel like you've already given such great advice, but I feel like you're such just a wealth of knowledge. So, what is the best piece of advice that you have ever received? Or, yeah, what's the best piece of advice that you would say that you've ever received personally, or that you would want to share with our audience before we get into the lightning round?
The best piece of advice in business I've always received, I will in business specifically, I would say it's so random, but always be close to the assistants. Anyone that's powerful, anyone that you know that is like such a gem or a nugget, always be close to their assistants because anything you need a meeting set up, you need anything happening, make sure it's done. You make sure that you're really cool with the assistants. That is a free gem for y'all.
Yeah, that's good.
And
That's a
then
great gem.
Yes.
And then I would just say, I think what I always carry with me is just it's a little religious, but I would just say keep God close. That has carried me. I think there's so much happening in the world all the time. There's a different headlines and things every day that can drive us all crazy. So, if it's not God, I would just say keep yourself centered, keep your foundation, keep whatever you need just to stay on the ground and not let all the noise get to you and things like that. They get me through the day because communications and marketing and all the things is not an easy industry, and you need something to grasp onto. So yeah, that's what helps me.
Well, we are both people of faith, so we resonate with that.
Yes. Yep. Actually, that's how Danielle and I met through church. So
Okay, nice.
you amongst the Christian girlies here too.
All right.
Yes, thank you for those gems of advice. They were great. All right, Robin, you ready for lightning round?
Let's get into it. Let's do it. So these are just a question where one or the other answer two items and you pick the one that fits you best. So coffee or tea?
You said coffee.
I'm trying to quit, but yes, coffee.
Mac or PC?
Mac. Sorry, I didn't mean to make a face, but Mac.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Fall or spring?
Spring.
Okay.
Beach or mountains?
Beach all day. Give me a beach.
Okay. Instagram or Facebook?
Cuba. Like Instagram.
Or Twitter or X or TikTok?
Instagram. TikTok's a close
Still
second.
Instagram, okay.
Okay. I was gonna say, is it neither for none of them? You like?
Yeah, I hate social media to be honest, but that's okay.
It can be overwhelming. It's a lot to manage and keep up with. And, as much as we love the benefits that come with social media, it's one more task when you are in
That's one
the
of the first
position
things
that,
I paid for. I can't get to someone else to run my social.
yeah, yeah, I get it.
So I feel like we touched on this a bit, but flats, heels, or sneakers. If you had to choose one as your go-to, or any,
Okay. Husband would be proud.
right?
But at this age in life, maybe when I don't know, old sneakers.
Samantha Jones or Olivia Pope.
Olivia Pope. No shade to Samantha. Hey girl, if you see this.
Well, we just want to thank you so much, Mia, for coming on the podcast and dropping the gems. It was such a great conversation. You are just a wealth of knowledge. Again, congratulations to everything that you have accomplished with Color Vision, the agency, the events. You are just a shining bright light, and I'm just so excited to continue to see you to soar and do great things, and to bring people along with you. That's one thing I noticed about
Absolutely.
you, is that you're about bringing people with you, putting them in the room together, and that matters so much. So thank you.
Thank you, ladies. I
Yeah.
hope to see you at the summit. Tickets on me, so please come and we can figure out some things there to to highlight you guys. So yeah, remind me in 2025. But yeah, let's chat next year.
My goodness, thank you.
Of course, this is
Thank
so dope.
you. And thank you so much. Once you set the date for 2025, let us know because we're happy to promote it as well on
Thank you so much.
our social, in the podcast. If we're in a season at that time, we can definitely give you some shout outs.
Yes, we would love to promote it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll send you guys. I'll definitely send you guys the information. Once that's another thing I need to do. But yes, once I figure out the next stage.
Not to add to your workload, but
And absolute last thing before we leave, Mia, can you tell people where they can find you and connect with you with Color Vision if they're
Yeah.
interested in joining or getting involved? Anything you have coming up? Can you just lay that for us?
If you want to learn more about Color Vision, please head to our website, www.colorvisioncreates.com. All of the information about us is there, our membership page, about us. If you just simply want to sign up for our newsletter, whatever the case, it's all there. You can also find us on all social media platforms at The Color Vision. And if you want to just connect with me directly, you can find me on LinkedIn, Mia Davis, and you'll see this too.
Love it.
thank you so much. We've enjoyed having you on.
This was so fun. I appreciate it. Please tag me, collaborate when it's ready, and we're happy to post it. So thank you so, so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right,
Thank
everybody. So
you.
join us here for our next episode. Again, we love bringing you all great content. So until then, we will see you next time.